Hello, it's Jeannie. Today's video is a super relaxing and crinkly video. I am going to be walking you through this Reader's Digest, March, April of 2024. And look how crinkly it is. The reason it's so crinkly is it got wet in my bathtub. But that's actually okay for purposes like this. And one of the things I want to tell you about that bath I took is how absolutely relaxing and comfortable it was. And that is thanks to Bade Sofa. I love taking a relaxing bath, but one of the issues I have is I tend to slip down in a big bath because I'm short and my feet don't reach the edge. And I like to lie back, but I haven't been able to find the right thing that is a solution for this until I found this Bade Sofa. Bade Sofa is a bath pillow, translated from German, and it is the exact thing I needed to just put my bath experience over the top. It comes in 6 beautiful colors and in 3 different sizes, so it fits any tub. You can get 15% off your first purchase by using my code Jeannie15. It will make a perfect Mother's Day gift or birthday gift for anyone who enjoys taking baths. It maintains its fullness and its position in the bath while you're taking your bath. It doesn't float away. The Bade Sofa pillow is easy to clean and can simply be left in the bath after use. It has an antibacterial and mold-resistant feature, and it is washable, hand-sewn, and made in the EU. And it is mold and stain resistant. Thank you to Bade Sofa for sponsoring this video and providing us this great discount and making my bath experience so luxurious. I can't wait for you all to try it. So now, let's go ahead and go through this Reader's Digest, all crinkly, and I'll show you some articles that I like. We'll talk about them. And just relax, kick back, listen to the sound of my voice and the crinkly pages. Thanks to my wonderful bath. And this is the special pet issue. There is so much cat hair in here. I wonder why. If I leave my studio door open, they come in and lay right here. Okay, so this is the March/April 2024 Reader's Digest. And it's super crinkly, thanks to the bath water. But I enjoyed it. And I do love the sound of it now that it's dry. So let me tell you about these Reader's Digests. My husband's grandmother got him a lifetime subscription to these, like 4 or 5 decades ago, maybe 4 decades ago. And no matter where we've been, we've always gotten these. And it's interesting, so I'll get this in the mail and I'll say, honey, your grandmother sent you something. And he still, 40 years later, looks up with this slightly expectant look in his eye. Your heart never stops hoping to see somebody who's passed, right? So, anyway, this is from his grandmother, and we get this every other month. I think it is, yeah. And they're nice to look through. So, these are kind of like the TikToks of the printed world. And so, it starts off with an over-the-counter sleep aid. I don't know. I've never tried this. So, I don't know anything about this. This one is melatonin, chamomile, and lavender. So it's all natural. No next day grogginess. Yeah, that's the thing about sleep aids, is they can make you really groggy the next day. Ensure Max Protein. My mom's refrigerator is full of these at her assisted living facility apartment because she forgets to eat. And her little apartment that she has, which is actually a nice size, they will come and get her for meals, but if she gets up in the night, which she often does, it's nice for her to have these kinds of things. So, okay, and this is, let's see, the chief content officer wrote an article about his dog being able to escape the backyard and their attempt at fencing it in, and finally their backyard is now secured, he says, like a maximum security prison because the dog just kept getting out and wandering. Now, back in my day, we had a lot of animals, cats and dogs and rats and birds and you name it. We had animals. And back in the 60s, you kind of sometimes just let your dogs run free. It wasn't a big deal to have a neighborhood full of dogs running around. And, you call them in at night. But it was just okay. Now, it's not okay because you can be bit or a dog could be stolen or, get hurt. But back in my day, animals kind of ran free. bask in the scenic beauty of the Canadian Maritimes. I'd like to do that on a small ship. I don't like big cruise ships. I like small ships. So this is a 10-night cruise. Explore the stunning landscapes of Canada and the scenic shores of Maine on this epic 10-night cruise. Oh, that would be cool. It goes out of Quebec City and around, and it ends up in Portland, Maine. Okay, and this article is about, it's called The Bike Bus, and it's where parents parents and kids and other, they have these safe streets for kids who are riding their bikes to school, which is good because kids need exercise, and I think they need more exercise now than ever. And so this is a group of parents who kind of created this safe bike trail to school. It's called the Bike Bus. This story is about this guy fell in the water. Where was it? Oh, in the East River of New York. And one was in the water, I don't know how, and he heard somebody yell, and the other guy just jumped in and helped to save him, and it was super cold, and he almost didn't make it. So that's a heartwarming story, which is nice. I like these glad to hear it uplifting stories, just little short stories. This one is about how crabs on Florida's coral reef help with controlling the algae. So, anyway. And this one is about a horse that was rescued from a kill pen, and his name was Blue. Anyway, he had a lot of pent-up energy, and their owner, she taped a carrot to a paintbrush once to see if he would figure it out, and he did. And so anyway, he paints pictures now. He's completed about 14 paintings, and anyway. Interesting. Okay, archaeological paths, the most exclusive tours of Egypt ever offered. I would love to see Egypt, and I would love to go with somebody who really knew, just a lot of the historical things about it, not just the touristy things, but a lot. I like things behind the scenes and, a little bit digging deeper. So that's on my bucket list. I have a few followers from Egypt. Okay, just little articles. Life in these United States. Just little anecdotal stories. Oh, here's a great article. It's called Under the Art of Living, Food, Facts, and Fun. Ooey gooey goodness. And it's about fondue. Now, in the 60s and 70s, fondue pots were in every house. Everybody had a fondue pot. And there were some fondue mixes that you could make up. It was really popular, and then it kind of went out. And it's come back. I actually now have 2 fondue pots. And you can use one for, cheese fondue. You can use another one for chocolate fondue. And when we were in Switzerland last summer, oh my gosh, we were in Interlaken, the town of Interlaken, and we were in other towns too, but we went out and had fondue and chocolate fondue. Oh my gosh, there's nothing you can't dip into fondue. Vegetables, meats, breads. And this reminds me of what it looked like in the 70s. Little sterno, flame that keeps it nice and hot. And if your bread or food drops off your fork, you're supposed to buy a round of drinks. So this is all about fondue. Oopsie. Okay. An article about eggs. A baker's dozen facts about eggs. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? And the scientific answer to this is the egg. Okay. More than 99% of Earth's animal species reproduce by laying eggs. They're a great source of protein and vitamins. Let's say they are higher in dietary cholesterol, but the old research has been debunked, and there's no definitive link between eating eggs and increasing your blood cholesterol. So I actually have a sensitivity to eggs. I used to get lots and lots of migraines. And so I did a food allergy or food sensitivity test and found out that eggs, both the whites and the yolks, came screaming up as one of the main culprits. And I used to eat eggs probably every day, which probably accounted for why I was getting so many migraines every month. Like sometimes 2, sometimes 3. And for me, a migraine meant that I was down for 2 or 3 days. Anyway, having cut back on eggs, now I can have eggs in something, like, in bread, cooked in something. It's not a big deal, but just sitting down and eating a bunch of eggs, I try to avoid. Okay, here's one. Chocolate eggs don't have the same nutritional benefits as regular eggs, so there you go. Okay, humor in uniform. Oh, here's one last thing. Eggs Benedict. I love Eggs Benedict. I love with that nice hollandaise sauce. Okay, humor in uniform. I skip around. Just stories. Okay, this one, it says how to speak like a Midwesterner. And the thing is, I say a lot of these things, like, geez Louise. Yeah, no. I say that. You betcha. She's a character. I mean, I say that. Nothing gets past him. Kind of like sharp as a tack, that one. That really tickled me. I hear ya. I say that, so I don't know. Hey, question for you. Okay, all in a day's work. Just little career-oriented stories. Ooh, I like this one. Passive-aggressive flattery on the job. It's impressive how you managed to stay so confident. You continue to meet expectations. I will give your suggestion all the consideration that it deserves. I'm certain you tried your best. Okay, I like these. So this is a picture of a big herd of rocks, and this is called Dumbo. And so it's these huge rocks. So where are they? Are they in Lexington, Virginia, Bellevue, Missouri, Hulett, Wyoming, or Lee Vining, California? So I've already looked this up. I didn't know. And it is B, Bellevue, Missouri. This is interesting for those who aren't in the U.S. I think we're one of the few countries that does this. So here is an advertisement for this drug by Segan, and it's for bladder cancer. So anyway, it starts with this woman's story, her treatment journey, and then all about this drug. So we've got 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, and even into this page. So, I mean, wow. Really, I mean. And of course they say, talk to your doctor. Well, your doctor should be the one, I think, getting this information. I don't know. I guess it's nice to know if I had bladder cancer, for instance. It would be nice to know what's out there, I suppose. I don't know. I'm conflicted on that. Okay, The Healthy. Wellness from thehealthy.com and the latest on Lyme disease. And they're saying a vaccine is finally on the way. And that is something that has really, really grown. My doctor says, we had lunch 2 weeks ago, and she said Lyme disease isn't just in the, Northeast anymore. It's actually all over. And the vector can be more than just a tick. So, I don't know anything about the vaccine, but anyway. Tips to stay safe, wear light colors. I think and tuck your pants into your socks. Look for repellent clothing, such as shirts and pants treated with insecticide permethrin. Wow. Spray yourself with a 30% DEET. Landscape your yard to make it inhospitable for ticks. Check yourself whenever you go out. Dry your clothes on high heat for 15 minutes as soon as you get inside. And stick to trails and don't walk through tall grass. I know where we used to live in California, there were ticks out on our property. We had 11 acres. Now my husband was fanatical about keeping it mowed. He had a big John Deere tractor and he kept it mowed. But every now and then, one of the cats would come in with a tick. And, I learned to check them a lot. And so, world of medicine, new help for heart disease. You can't reverse sleep deprivation. Yeah, and we know this, that sleeplessness takes a toll on your ability to stay focused on tasks. And I think a lot of us in the ASMR community know that, the detrimental effects of sleep deprivation. Okay. The more you walk each day, the greater the health benefits. Defibrillators save lives, calories count. Okay. Little jokes or little funny anecdotal stories here. This is a collection of heartwarming, lost and found stories. People who lost their pets and then were later reunited with them. And I think we've all heard those stories, the incredible journey, things like that, where somehow the animals make it back after, over miles, if not maybe even cities or states. So this man getting reunited with his dog, a snake, oh my goodness. This guy, his story is he was in Utah riding his horse, Mongo, and Mongo went chasing after a herd of mustangs. 8 years later, the Bureau of Land Management noticed one of the wild horses that they had just rounded up had a big brand on his shoulder, and he was bigger than the average Mustang. And so, anyway, they found out who the brand belonged to, and he was reunited with this horse after 8 years. A cross-country crisis. Wow. I haven't read this. Anyway, I guess it's a cross-country story of reuniting this cat with its owner. And this is where a Marine or a vet, an older vet, uses Marine tactics to rescue this stolen Yorkie. And that, stolen dogs are a big thing now. These little expensive dogs. Anyway, this is the little girl who he belonged to. She belonged to her. And anyway, they got her recovered. Okay, poems offered me an anchor as I lost my son, so I shared them. Speaking of poems, I just love that latest book, and I know I've shared it with you when I was in my backyard, by Donna Lawrence, Looking In From Outside. Oh, let me know if you've gotten that book. It is so touching, and it talks about, it touches on every subject. Love, happiness, sadness, heartbreak, loss. after we lost our son, he was 20. In one of his binders, he had this big binder of all these poems he had written. And they were pretty interesting and really touching. And some of them were very almost prophetic. Like, oh, if I'm not here to say this, here's what I want you to know type of writing, you know. And he was just some beautiful things that we had found, and I have that today, and I treasure it, of course. Okay, this is a great article. What happens to all the stuff we return? I used to think they resold it back on the shelves, but more than likely it is not resold. Remember when we used to repair things way back in the day? Now people just either throw them out or return them, depending on when they were bought. And based on return policies and free shipping and all that. But they don't necessarily go back to be sold in the traditional sense. And now what's really big is you can bid on pallets of returned stuff. And so it has this one, let's see, where is it? Especially, during the pandemic, everybody was shopping online, right? So a lot of stuff was coming and going. But anyway, there are companies that will buy all this stuff and then auction it off or just offer a flat fee for the pallet. So here's one, Liquidity Services. They have 8 regional warehouses in North America. And that's what it is. It's just you go buy a pallet and you can either resell the stuff, either online, at a flea market or, yard sale, whatever. So there are a lot of liquidators now. Have any of you ever done that, where you've gotten a case or a pallet of returns? I know that's a whole new business with, people selling that kind of thing, Yeah, a rapidly vanishing species, people who know how to repair stuff. My toaster just went out this morning, and I've had this toaster for maybe 15 years. It's a Cuisinart. And, they're just so inexpensive. I'm not going to pay to repair it. So I need to order a new toaster. So the first thing I do is I do a Google search on best toasters. Just best toasters, not toaster ovens, but a toaster. And I start doing the reviews on which ones have the best reviews, best feedback. Not necessarily all about the options. I just want to press down my button and have it toasted, but I do want to, check things out. And who knows, and sometimes I do bagels, so I do want the bagel option. Okay. Disaster on the river. So they have these inspirational stories that are nice, drama in real life. And so this is about two canoeists who struggle to keep themselves and their friendship afloat. And their whole story of what happened. One of our sons used to kayak and canoe and all that. Anyway, he was kayaking down some rapids. I think it was a kayak, right? I can never keep straight what all those things are, but he's inside of it and using that thing. Anyway, he hit a rock, and the way his thing turned, he actually broke his collarbone, his clavicle, but finished running that rapid, but he had a broken collarbone. But it didn't stop him. He just finished. He had to. Okay, let's dance. It's good for your body, your soul, and even your brain. Moving, just move. At my mom's assisted living facility, they have chair aerobics and chair exercises and chair yoga and chair and on Friday nights they actually have live music and dancing. They get those old people moving and shaking, and my mom loves to dance, just getting out there and shaking her little tush, and that's wonderful because as she's entering this phase of her life where she's losing her memory, and that's what brings me sadness, is that I can't talk to her about a lot of things. It's nice to talk to her about things she is doing right now, so I talk to her every day. What'd you do today? Oh, we had dancing. We danced today. I danced with this old codger, she'll say. And, and it's good for them to move. So, yeah, that makes me happy, and I have to keep that in mind, that she is happy and doing well. Okay, this is called Hero Pets, and this is about Kit, a courageous canine, and these are actual officers, these canine dogs, and this story is about how beautiful their relationship was, and sadly, Kit was shot they were both shot in the line of duty, and Kit saved his life by taking one of the bullets, but in doing so he lost his own, and he got a full funeral. I mean, an honored, full honors at his funeral. People got up and talked about him. He had a flag covering his casket. Police officers came from all across the state. They did his final message, end of watch message. Oh, it makes me sad. And so this is in Braintree, Massachusetts. And here's a little memorial to Kit. But anyway. Okay. True stories. The best prank you ever pulled. I used to be a prankster. I mean, like, bad. Yeah. My father, who was born in the 20s, he and his brother, they were a year apart, used to pull a lot of pranks back then in the 30s. And my father would tell us these stories. And we would be howling with laughter at some of the pranks he and my uncle, his brother, would tell us. And anyway, one of the things he used to do was start fires. I know that sounds insane, but there were a lot of fields back back in the day in San Jose, and his parents had some property, and they always would get caught lighting these fields on fire. Well, they learned how to set these little timers so that they could be seen somewhere else, and then the fire would kick up in the field, and but they would say, "Oh, those boys, nope, they were here. It couldn't have been them." Anyway, I know that's terrible, but they used to just love setting fires. They were a couple of arsonists. Nothing bad, but anyway. So I enjoyed his pranks so much, and just so many of them, that I learned to start doing pranks. And oh my goodness, you probably wouldn't like me if I told you some of them, but they were good ones, really good ones. I'll tell you one, okay? And if you've stuck through the video this long, you deserve a funny story about me. I was in junior high. Oh my God, there may be people who know me out there. And we were in PE, and my friend Denise and I, of course, I hatched this diabolical plot because I was the wicked one. And I came up with this idea that, well, what we would do, we had a locker, and they were baskets, and you would take off your clothes, put on your gym clothes, and then go do your PE. And everybody would rush in. They would unlock their lock, their combination lock, get their PE clothes on, put their clothes back in the locker, the basket, and then they would just sling the lock open. They never locked them. And so I told Denise, let's go around after everybody had left, and let's switch all the locks and lock them closed. And so everybody went out. We grabbed all the locks, and some we just moved over one, and then we closed them. Some we moved across the whole locker room. But every lock we could find that was open, we switched it and closed it. So we went out to PE, and then it was over, and we came back in. We left a few open because we didn't want to be the only ones who got dressed and sailed out. See, I had a diabolical mind even back then. But it was pandemonium because there were like 3 classes in this huge locker room. And so the poor PE coach, she had to get everybody's lockers combination. See, at the beginning of the year, you took your lock to her. She wrote it down and what the registration number was on the back and what your combination was, just in case. Well, she had like 90 locks to look up. I think they ended up coming in with bolt cutters and just cutting them all off. They would have been there for days. So anyway, that is one of my prank stories. So. Maybe I'll tell you some others someday, but I don't know. I think you'll have to pay me a lot of money to do that. I remember one time, it was April Fool's, I took Oreo cookies and I put toothpaste on the inside for when the kids came in. I just had a few sitting there on a plate and just watching. They loved that. Okay, movies coming out. Arthur the King with Mark Wahlberg. Oh, that looks good. He finds a stray dog and names him Arthur the King. My son's dog is named Arthur. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That takes off where Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie became Brangelina. Books. Latest books that are good. I haven't read these. Quotable quotes. like this by Jennifer Garner. The more you engage, the more you learn about different ways that people believe and worship, and the more you can sit next to anyone and be a neighbor. I like that. And then some little brain games. And the very last thing is Align Probiotic Digestive Support. And Howie Long with these Skechers. So, do you or your parents or your grandparents take Reader's Digest? Well, what do you think? Reader's Digest has been around a long time, and I love that we still get these. And I thank Zane's grandma for sending these to him for the rest of his life. A lifetime subscription. Let me know your thoughts. I love hearing from you. And I'll sign off for now. I wish you so much relaxation. And I hope you have a very good night of sleep. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.